I'm going to talk a little slower, so if I'm going too fast, you're going to help me out and tell me if I need to slow her down, okay? So these are the two books that I gave you the links to yesterday. So if you haven't went and downloaded them yet, they're still going to be there. They're available. And at the end of the presentation, I'll have those links again. But if you're wondering what the two books were that I was going to gift to you, those are free. There's no cost at all to you. So I can't share everything that I have with you, but I was in a presentation once in New York City, and there was a Qigong master, and I'm really kind of into martial arts. So when I went to hear him talk, at the end of his talk, he had a few minutes left, and he didn't quite share everything that he needed to share. So he stopped for a minute, he looked at the audience, and he put his hands up, and he just kind of sat silently like this. And then he said, "I've just transmitted everything that I was supposed to say to you." So if you miss anything, just know it's an energy exchange. I do believe that there's more communicating here. What I want to do this afternoon is give you some experiences of what we're talking about using neuroscience, talking more about the voice part of it. So I'm going to go through a few slides and we're going to have a little fun. I'm going to let hopefully some more people come in before we do one of the first exercises. But when we're talking about light, tomorrow at the little presentation, little workshop that I'm going to do, the 3-hour one, I'm going to show you how I use all three of these different programs and the lights that you see downstairs. So we're going to have body lights there. We're going to have a nasal light. There's actually a nasal light that you can use that they found that light can reverse Alzheimer's. And within 30 days, people are reporting incredible results, and there's studies about that. And I brought one with me to show you. I didn't bring enough to sell, but I can give you a link if you're interested and you're at the workshop. And then you can see the child. That's how we treat or we work with the kids for autism. With autism, there's a gut-brain connection. And for those of you that aren't medical doctors, they now know that we have 3 brains. We have the brain in our head, we have the brain of our nervous system, and we have the brain in our gut. Okay, so they all have to be in alignment. If not, you have some people will get something called irritable bowel syndrome. And in Europe, one thing that they know with irritable bowel syndrome, the first thing they do is they send that person with IBS, is what they call it, to a hypnotherapist, because they know that it's a thinking problem. Some of you probably thought I had a gut feeling about something. There's actually gray matter in your stomach. So you have a brain there. It's a primitive brain, but it organizes how to digest and move your food. So that's what this child's doing with the lights. So someone was asking me downstairs, because I do have them down there, but we're not demonstrating them. Now, this is part of the technology that I'm going to show you tomorrow as well. But this is a session done with an autistic child, and I'm going to be showing you some of these slides throughout the presentation today. If you can see, this child is, right now, what they call vegetation balance means his autonomic nervous system, his parasympathetics, his sympathetic nervous system are in balance. He's out of balance here at the beginning of the session. Again, this is a 10-minute session for autism. He came in at 252. After that session, he's now in balance at 109. That's what we can do with the brain. So I'm going to show you a few of these just for autism to show you what happens with that. And this is happening because ATP, we talked about this yesterday, is energizing his cells. He's healing himself because we're unlocking the body's full potential. Once you unlock the body's full potential, we can create our own energy. We're generating that energy. This is the same child who did a 10-minute session. He's an autistic child. He came in, he had 140 units of energy. He walked out with 246. He was 51 and 67. So we're regulating his system. One of the things that you'll find with autism is most of them have a really bad gut. They have diarrhea. Anything they eat, they just comes out. They have bad gas. They can't control themselves. And that happened sometime usually when they're within the first being born or within the first year, something happened. Sometimes it happens when they've had a vaccination. Something happens in that way. The next thing I want to show you with this child is that he went from 56 to 63, but what I want you to notice is his delta was 48. He had 7% alpha, 7% beta. After the session, he had 22% alpha. Remember, autistic kids don't have alpha. That's the problem. So after a 10-minute session, we got his brain to up it to 22. Beta was 11. His primary brainwave was alpha. Now, if I took a normal population, which I mean is somebody who doesn't have autism, a child of the same age, this is what their brain would look like. They would have more alpha. That's why they're bouncing off the wall. They have lots of energy. They have attention deficit. And by the way, that's not a bad thing. Most of your most successful people on earth have attention deficit disorder. But when they need to focus, they learn to focus. So again, as we look at this now, I want to just go over the brainwaves again as we do some exercises here. Remember, this is when you're looking at beta. When you're in a beta state and you're running around being busy, you can see the brainwaves look like that. They kind of mirror that. One of the things I need to share with you, when you gave me a copy of your book, it was awesome. I opened up her book to a page in her book, and it had this slide. This slide that I'm using is in her book. I thought, wow, I opened it up right to that page. So we talk about synchronicity. It was pretty awesome. But I like to show this to my clients because when they're in beta and they're running around, busy, people think they get more work done. But there's a really good book out called 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Has anybody here ever heard of that book? Great. In that book, for those of you that didn't read it, he tells a story of coming upon 2 people cutting down a tree. And while they're cutting down the tree, of course, they're working as hard as they can. And this guy comes up and he says, you know, if you stopped and sharpened that saw, you could cut that tree a lot faster. And the 2 are going, no, we're busy cutting the tree. We're busy cutting the tree. And they won't stop. And that's kind of the way people use it with their brain. They're so busy being busy, they won't stop to sharpen their saw, which in business or in your life, your saw in this case is your brain. So we need to slow it down. And if you look at alpha there, which we use for relaxation, calm, lucid, you're not really thinking. That's why in meditation they say there's no thoughts. There are obviously thoughts, and I'm going to show you today in a few little exercises what to do with those thoughts. If you're not thinking, typically you're dead. So, but you want to have higher thoughts in meditation. You can go into a no zone, like what we call the infinite or that void, where like samadhi, if you want to call it that, whatever. But some point in time you're going to come back and there's going to be a thought that you keep thinking. Well, the problem most people have is they don't know how to manage their thoughts. When they went to school, they didn't have a class in Thought Training 101. They were just taught by their parents. Okay? In fact, I like to use what Queen Elizabeth said. She said, we learn like monkeys from our parents. You know, so whatever our parents did, we're going to end up doing. Or whoever was our significant caregiver. Could be your grandmother or somebody like that. If you look at theta, you can see how it starts to space out, deep meditation, mental imagery. This is where you want to go. The problem is, as long as you keep active about your day-to-day activities, like in America, and I know that you probably do this here now, but they teach a lot of visualizations for success. And so every time somebody visualizes, they're trying to meditate to achieve a goal. Well, the problem is there's a conflict there. Just like the conflict we did yesterday when we did the spinning of the foot and writing the name. The brain's in conflict, so then the brain shuts down. You don't visualize in that way, you just be that. You become what it is. You got the thinking brain, you got the doing brain, and we got to have the being body. You got to just be it. Once you're in the being mode of it, then you resonate a frequency out. And you can see delta there. There's no training that happens in delta. So what I want to do first is, before we start, am I right? There was no T out there? Is that what somebody said? So what I want to do is I want to do a little guided imagery with you, just so you can understand a few things that we're doing. So go ahead and just, wherever you're sitting, put your feet flat on the floor, put your things down so you can relax. I'm going to guide you through a little meditation. And with your things down, go ahead and make yourself comfortable. Maybe you have to shake it out a little bit, move your head around. And when you close your eyes down, what I'd like you to do, as you close your eyes down, just roll your eyes slightly upward, as if you're looking through the brow. And while you focus there, what I want you to do is take that deep breath in. And then connect that breath, just like you've learned here. Just release it and let it go. Notice as you breathe in and you breathe out, you start to notice the sensations, the feelings of your body in the chair. Just become aware of that sensation. Become aware of that feeling. And journey with your mind, with your breath, from the lungs to the bloodstream. And as you journey with your mind through the bloodstream, I want you to focus your attention on your heart. Become aware of your heart. Focus completely on your heart, just for a moment. And notice that pulsating feeling, that relaxation that happens with the beating of your heart. Some of you can be aware of it, others maybe not. But just focus on your heart for a moment. At the core of every heart beats success. And that's successful in health, in harmony, and vitality for your body. So imagine that frequency. And imagine that frequency is broadcasting out to the other cells of your body as energy. So as you continue to breathe in deeply and breathe out completely, you're organizing your mind around your heart. And visualize it as a light now. Imagine that light at the core of your heart is resonating out and entering into the bloodstream. And it's circulating through the bloodstream so that laser light, cosmic light, can move through your body and fill your body with light. It's been said that when your eye becomes single, your body fills with light. So imagine that light filling your body. And as that light fills your body, I want you to imagine that light moving outside of your body. So it's just on the outside. It's surrounding the skin, the areas of the body. And visualize that. And imagine now it's expanding out from your body out into your auric field. And as your aura fills with light, imagine that your light is penetrating the light of the person next to you, in front of you, behind you. And imagine the light that's being generated right now. And take a moment to acknowledge your light. And imagine the light of this room lighting up this pyramid. Because the pyramid is not only a receiver, but it's also a transmitter. Imagine this pyramid filling with light so that you're helping to generate the light that fills this pyramid. And visualize with your mind that light leaving the pyramid, shooting up through the capstone and spreading out around the globe. And imagine the earth filling with light. And as that light fills the globe, imagine your perception from that space as if you could move yourself through the capstone, ascending up with an initiation just for you. And as you ascend up through the capstone in your own way, continuing to breathe in deeply, knowing that your body's perfectly okay here while your mind takes a trip, a journey, relaxes your mind, harmonizes your thoughts, and focuses your awareness. And what I'd like you to do is take that little journey, and I'm going to pause just for a moment. Just remember to breathe and imagine that light resonating from the pyramid out into the surrounding area and filling the globe, connecting with every other pyramid structure on Earth, from the Pyramid of Giza to pyramids in India to pyramids in the United States to the UK. And imagine generating that light because they're generators of light, laser light. And notice that feeling as you become a generator of cosmic energy, generating it through your body so that any part of your body that's not feeling in perfect health right now, I want you to communicate to those cells, to any system, to any organ of your body that's not functioning in perfect genetic harmony. Imagine it now resonating in light, in love, in harmony. So that as you think about your body, you think about the perfect genetic blueprint, the one that was there the moment you were conceived. The blueprint of health in every cell, every system, and every organ, generating out, filling this pyramid, so that just as you create health, harmony, and vitality for yourself, you're creating it for the whole planet. And as you take that journey just for a brief moment, practicing that meditation in your own mind, in your own way, I want you to slowly return back through the capstone. Imagine sitting in the king's chamber, and from that perspective, looking down at yourself. Seeing yourself sitting in the chair, maybe walking into the room. You notice people outside, perhaps. And then slowly return back into your body. What I'd like you to do is just take a few deep breaths and bring yourself back into your body. Imagine energizing your feet. Organizing that energy and let it move up through your calves and shins. Imagine it organizing around the knees and focusing and channeling up through the thighs, moving up through the spine, feeling the shoulders roll back. Take a few deep breaths, and as you breathe in, notice you're energizing your arms, and it's all centralizing, moving up through the neck and into the head area, lifting any weight from the past and putting it behind you. And when you're ready, just open your eyes and say to yourself internally, wide awake, feeling fine and in perfect health, feeling better than ever before. And when you're ready, just open your eyes and give a smile to the world and get a smile in return. So as you return, and listen to me here, what I want you to recognize is when Buddha 5,000 years ago said, "He who angers you conquers you," what he meant by that was, when you think an angry thought, where do you think it goes first? It goes through you. Deepak Chopra, in his book, The Quantum Healing, which we saw here, he proved that when you think negative thoughts, those negative thoughts happen to you because they happen through you. So every time you have an angry thought to somebody or you're upset with somebody, guess who gets the first anger? You do. So we have to clean our bodies every once in a while. We've got to purge those emotions. We've got to love ourselves, like we heard in some of the presentations. When Jesus, 2,000 years ago, said, "Love your enemy," what he really meant was preserve your body.